My next guest got a big fight coming up here on Friday at Bellator 243. He's going to be taking on Adam Borics. It is Mike Hamel joining me here on the program for the very first time with his awesome shirt. Mike, how's it going, man?
It's good, man. Just hanging out in Connecticut, getting used to this whole quarantine stuff, and sitting in the hotel room a lot, trying to find ways to work out. But it's good right now, just waiting on test results.
Well, I appreciate you having me part of your downtime here during fight week. But how did this come together, man? I just found out about this fight the other day, and big opponent here in Adam Borics.
Yeah, no, it's we've been waiting for a big opportunity like this. You know, my career, even though I've only got 10 professional fights, I've been feeling like I'm one of the top guys for a really long time now. Everybody in my gym knows that, and my management team understands that. So when an opportunity like this popped up, I didn't even think twice. I said, "Where's the contract? I'm going to sign it right now."
Yeah, what was the excitement level just getting to fight a guy like him who's, you know, in the Grand Prix and everything? Like, it's pretty cool to get to have this opportunity to fight him.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. You know, it's the type of fight that we're looking for. I'm looking for the kind of that breakout fight where the world's going to understand how good I am, and that's the opportunity, and I had to take it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'd sorry to interrupt you there, because I know when it comes to certain fights with Bellator, this is your first one. Is it just a one-fight deal, or is this like a multi-fight deal? Because I know sometimes they like to, you know, give you the fight, see how you do, and then they'll decide to re-sign you.
Yeah, no, so I signed a couple fight contract. So I think I got this one, and one more is how it's going to work out, and then they can negotiate to re-sign me after that. But I'm thinking after I go out and I ragdoll this guy, I'm going to get a couple fight deal after that.
Yes, big opportunity like I mentioned there. Before we talk about the matchup, I want to learn a little bit more about you aside from your cool shirt. How did you get involved in combat sports? Where did this journey start for you?
Yeah, so I was pretty much born into wrestling, right? Like my first pair of shoes that I ever got was a pair of wrestling shoes from the team my dad coached in high school. So I've got wrestling on both sides of my family. My dad is inducted into the University of Wyoming Hall of Fame. He leads that Division I team in pins. Then my uncle on my mom's side, actually, both my uncles were state champs. All my dad's brothers were state champs. I didn't really have an option at anything else, and I'm glad about it. I loved it. So I started wrestling when I was a little kid, when I was 4 years old. Pretty much once I could run around, they threw me in the room and ended up wrestling for the University of Wyoming. Started there for a year, transferred to Grand Canyon University, and I was an All-American for them before the program got cut.
You talked about, you know, the sort of being in the womb that wrestling was going to be inevitable for you. But as far as MMA, when did that come on your radar? As far as being a fan, you know, even before you started training?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, you know, everybody was watching, like if you were a wrestler, you watched The Ultimate Fighter. And I remember watching those guys, and I was like, I could do this. I was like, all the wrestlers are the ones dominating anyways. So when I finished wrestling in college, I called my college coach, and I was like, hey, I want to fight. Where do you think I should go? And luckily, I lived like 20 minutes away from the lab. So I was a pretty ignorant fight fan. You know, I just watched. I didn't have any research. I didn't know how good the lab was. So I showed up there, talked to Coach Crouch. She was like, yeah, like with your credentials, we can put you right on the fight team. So this was actually on a Wednesday, which is our stand-up sparring day. And I got my ass beat. Like I hadn't been beat like that in a long time, and I loved it. I was like, oh shit, sign me up. So it really started pretty much a month after my college career ended. I got in the room and started fighting consistently.
Yeah, there's a couple wrestlers I know that came over to train at the lab, like just with like good credentials. Like I know he's not there anymore, but Jakar Close was one. Mark Martin, is he still? I don't know if he's still there, but I know that there's a couple that, you know, made that transition. So you must have sort of felt at home, because I know that's sort of what a lot of them are known for.
Yeah, no, there's a ton of good wrestlers in the room. I actually just cornered Mark 2 weeks ago when he fought on the LFA. We went out there, so yep, he's still at the lab, and we just actually got Bryce Meredith. Known him since we were young kids. You know, he's a Wyoming boy just like me, so he actually just came out there, and he's starting to train full time with us now. So it's been good, man. Wrestlers are taking over, so it's nice to have more around.
Aside from fighting, what else do you do for work? Like, what pays the bills for you right now as far as like a day job?
So right now I'm the head coach for the kids club at the MMA lab for the kids wrestling. So I coach little Rugrats every day.
It must be so rewarding getting to train the next generation of killers, right?
It is, man. And you know what? I always say it's getting me ready to have kids.
Yeah.
So
no, yeah.
I had to have a kid.
That's awesome. And I know they have a daycare too at the lab, if I'm not mistaken, don't
Yep.
they? Or...
So I tell my kids if they're acting up, I say, hey, I'm not the daycare lady. I said, I can send you over there real quick. If you're in here,
Awesome. What's it like? I got to ask, what's it like being the guy brought in to lose? Obviously they want him to win. He was in their tournament. There's a lot of hype around him. He beat Aaron Pico. Like, what's that feeling like? Is that almost less pressure just because like you're not supposed to go in there and beat this guy?
Oh yeah. I mean, you can look at it as less pressure, but I think pressure is a good thing, right? And I put a lot of pressure on myself. I think if you don't have pressure, then you're doing something wrong. So I put a tremendous amount of pressure on myself. I know what I'm capable of, and I could give two shits if they think that I'm going to lose. I know exactly what I'm capable of, and when I beat their guy, it's going to make them either like me more or hate me, but either way, people are going to be watching it.
How do you feel like you match up against him here? Obviously, he's good at everything, but like you mentioned, you got the wrestling background. You got a lot of tools to bring to this as well. How do you look at this from a style perspective?
Yeah, so if you look at it like a style perspective, right, he beat Pico, but he was losing 9 minutes of that fight before that happened, you know, and it was losing it pretty easily. Like, he wasn't landing on his feet. He landed one significant leg shot, just caught Pico a little bit off guard, but he was getting wrestled up. You watch his fight with Darian Caldwell. He got taken down immediately, gave up his back. He got choked out. I'm better on top than either of those guys. I'm a different beast when I get on top of somebody, you know, and he may not know that. And obviously I got to be aware he's got very dynamic and explosive movements on his feet, you know, and I've got to be aware the whole time and pick my shots fine. But no, I'm a bad style up for him.
You mentioned training camp there. Who have been some of your main training partners for this fight?
Yeah, so I didn't obviously get much of a training camp. I contract about a week out, but it actually worked out really well because my big brother Benson was fighting Chandler later that night, and I was his main training partner the whole time. I was doing every single practice with him, giving him all his rounds, trying to simulate my best Chandler for him. So anybody who knows Benson, if you're going to be helping him out with camp, you're in camp. You know?
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't get any tougher than that, getting to work with a guy like him. So I'm sure that's a lot of confidence going into this fight, just having a former UFC champion as your main guy there and there. What about the weight cut? Because you mentioned the short notice. How's that going ahead of this fight?
Weight cut's fine. Weight cut.
You're a wrestler. I mean, you've been probably cutting weight since you were, you know, like a preteen or something, right? So
obviously. So it's like I've got it down to a science. I work with a nutritionist. Actually, he doesn't like being called that. I work with Dr. Capo. So he helps send everything. So I called him when I thought the fight was a possibility, talked about my weight, talked about what I need to do, and he's lined up every single gram of food and ounce of water that I can have. So at this point, it's just putting in work, making sure my body's rested. I've never missed weight, not once in my life, never wrestling, nothing like that. I don't plan on starting this week.
Who's going to be in your corner for this fight? Is Benson going to corner you even though he's fighting?
No, I couldn't ask that of him. No, so I'm going to have John Crouch, obviously, will be in my corner. I'll have Yatsin Meza and my boy who I brought with me, Jose Delgado. He's actually in the room right now.
Awesome.
Say what over there? Can we see
What's up,
him?
man?
This.
Good stuff.
So he's a tall, gangly man like Borics, so I figure he can come give me some looks for the week, work on my timing.
How's this fight playing out on August 7th?
I think I'm going to come out there. Obviously, I'm going to take it slow, a little bit of a first round, little feel-out process, but I think I see his soul just kind of crumbling in the second. You know, I'm serious. I break people. You know, when you're stuck in a tight space and you panic and you use all your energy to get out of there and you just can't, I'm going to feel that panic on him, and he's going to give up his neck or he's going to cover up. And either way, it's going to be me on top beating the piss out of him, or it's going to be me on his neck choking him out.
Talked all about Mike Hamel, the fighter. What about Mike Hamel outside the cage? What do you like doing as far as hobbies and stuff? Like, what are you keeping yourself occupied with aside from all the testing and everything? You got a video game system with you. You're watching Netflix. What are you up to?
So right now, apparently we're in the poor tower. We can't even plug in our Apple TV or our PlayStation.
What? First world problems, man. That's terrible.
Yeah. Like, we're on like Google Cast right now watching stuff on Netflix. But man, outside the cage, if I'm in camp, I'm a big Netflix guy, HBO Go, any of that stuff. I like watching TV. But if I'm not in camp, man, I'm at pool parties, hanging out with my friends, going out, maybe getting away in the mountains. I like to hunt in the wintertime. You know, I grew up in the mountains, so I like to get back to that. But I don't know, I'm probably one of the most social people that
You got to be around people. I can tell the shirt,
Yeah.
had it right off the bat, right? I can tell you like starting conversations and stuff. So that definitely makes sense. Any cool hikes you've been on recently, or any outdoor? Because I live up in Canada, so we always go hiking all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So actually, one of my old heavyweights that I wrestled with in college, he lives up in Bozeman, Montana, so he's on the north side of Yellowstone. So me and my wife went up there, and she actually played volleyball in college with his wife. They were the ones who introduced us. So we tried to go up and visit them every summer. So we were just up there for the 4th of July, actually, and he took us rafting down the Yellowstone River and all that good stuff. So, yeah, we got to go explore in Bozeman for a little bit. It's beautiful up there. Just got to pack some bear spray.
Yes, no, you got to watch out for that. Actually, I live in Vancouver. Actually, my mom, who lives in Burnaby, about 40 minutes away from where I live, like in the burbs, they had a bear yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before, a bear and their cub. So that every now and then you see some bears coming down from the mountains. It's pretty nutty.
Yeah.
So got to watch out for that. And people got to watch you, man, coming up here Friday. It's you against Adam Borics, Bellator 243. Thanks so much for the time, man. I know you got a bunch of stuff to do. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours.
Yeah. So my Instagram, my old one got hacked. So if you follow that one, please unfollow it. It's my new one is Magic Mike _MMA, right? And that's where I do most of my stuff. I'm Magic Mike MMA on Twitter, but I don't really get on there too much. I'm more of I like looking at pictures instead of reading crap. But as far as sponsors go, yeah, I'd like to shout out X Endurance. It's my supplement company. They're nice, clean supplements, been keeping me fueled the whole time. Drink HRW, So Right, and AZIV Medics. If you're in the Arizona area and you're a little hungover, hit those guys up. Go get plugged in.